office. For more, we are bringing in our panel tonight. David Carlucci, former Democratic New York State Senator, and Elizabeth Pipko, former spokesperson for the Republican National Committee. Good to have you both on here tonight. David, why don't we start with you? Fed Chair Jerome Powell not mincing words about the probe into the central bank, saying that this is a political move, plain and simple. Is he right?
Yeah, he is. This is very disturbing, and this could have disastrous impacts on our economy. The idea that President Trump is trying to influence the Fed is just extremely problematic for multiple reasons. Of course, Donald Trump wants interest rates impacted because he wants that sugar high. But this could be something that has devastating effects long term. Why? Because of the trust of that independence. If we have political power brokers moving and influencing the Fed, that is just catastrophic in terms of how we are seen nationwide and beyond that, globally. And that is a real problem. And Donald Trump has hinted at this. He has said it. And now with this investigation, it's just another tool to weaponize the Department of Justice to go after anyone that he disagrees with. He's trying to set a chilling effect, and it's extremely problematic for just the democracy that we enjoy here in this country, but also the power of our economy.
Elizabeth Powell saying this investigation is pure politics. It is a direct threat to the Fed's independence. Do you agree?
So look, I'll be completely honest with you. I have friends and family that were investigated by Joe Biden's DOJ, so I don't really have time or energy to hear about Democrats worrying about the weaponization of the Department of Justice, which they thoroughly enjoyed for the 4 years of Joe Biden. I know that this is breaking news. This just came out. Obviously, I have to look further into it and see what comes out. I am not going to get ahead of any investigation, but I would hope that for those that want our country to move forward from everything we've experienced the last few years, we could all agree that we should not get ahead of any investigation and see what comes to light first.
Yeah, David, very quickly, any response on that, the idea that Biden's DOJ perhaps did the same thing?
Well, look, two wrongs don't make a right. And this idea that, someone else did it, a Democrat did it, so it makes it right. No. We need to rise above that. And just this tit for tat in our justice system is not appropriate. And the fact that we've already heard about this story, about this building renovation, that Donald Trump went there and questioned the chairman about it. And now this investigation there to try to make that influence is just very unfortunate. And there's not this trust. We don't have the trust in the White House because we see this time and time again where the president has said he wants revenge. He's been using this tactic on anyone that crosses him, and that's the problem. So I appreciate my friend here saying that we should let the system play out. And I agree with that. But unfortunately, this reeks of a misappropriation, of influencing where it doesn't belong. And that's the problem here.
So, David, I do want to stay with you as we turn to Minnesota. In the wake of the shooting of Renee Good, Illinois Congresswoman Robin Kelly saying she's going to introduce articles of impeachment against DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. We see Minnesota Representative Angie Craig today saying that we are going to move forward to impeach the secretary. Does this have any teeth? Do you anticipate any Republican support for an impeachment vote here?
Look, I don't think so. I think that they're trying to make a statement that they have lost faith in the Department of Homeland Security. Look, we heard her speak on your program earlier. We heard Holman speak, and he was right. He said, look, let's not rush to judgment here. And that's the problem. The fact that we're going to have the Department of Homeland Security, which already has said they know what happened here, do an investigation without any local input is extremely problematic. And I think that is getting everybody across the country really upset. Not that they've chosen which side they're on, but the fact that the president, the vice president, and the secretary of Homeland Security have obviously said what they believe and jumping to conclusions of what happened here.
Elizabeth, is there concern about an impartial and a fair federal level investigation here?
Well, look, I think it depends on who you ask, right? I think too much of our country right now has been politicized, and obviously we saw it immediately after the shooting. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, you should be able to admit that this is a tragedy. And I think for most involved, they wanted to rush to judgment and pick a side. And I'm hoping that people realize when an investigation goes on, like I just said, by the way, about Jerome Powell, I'm hoping that Americans can sit back and see what comes out first. I mean, there's too much going on here to actually be able to jump to conclusions before anything comes out. There's people debating whether Renee Good was committing a crime to begin with. Then there's those that are obviously debating, I think, the real issue,
and
which is
Elizabeth,
whether
I want to
lethal
give you a
force
chance to respond.
was justified.
I want to give you a chance to respond to something David brought up, where many in the administration from the top down came out right away, basically siding with the ICE officer, saying this was justified, this use of force was necessary, this was self-defense. Is that problematic, calling her a domestic terrorist before the facts have been borne out by an investigation?
Well, look, I would say for many of us, we are, I'd say, reassured finally to have a president and administration that actually stands with our law enforcement officials, something that many were lacking under Joe Biden and under Democrat leadership across the country. At the same time, those in our administration, as you mentioned, are moving forward with a very necessary investigation. Nobody is trying to stop that. And everybody, including Tom Homan, has said that that is necessary and that this was, in fact, a tragedy, regardless of what you think happened.
Elizabeth Pipko, David Carlucci.
They are putting their thumbs on the scale of this investigation, and that's the problem. To stand with our law enforcement is not to send them into harm's way. We don't understand or know the level of training that these ICE officers or Border Patrol officers have had, and now they're dealing with people's First Amendment rights. And we shouldn't sacrifice one or the other, but this administration is just so bent on getting them out there and causing this type of havoc that we are putting our officers in harm's way.
I wish we had more time, but Elizabeth, David, I appreciate you both. I appreciate the perspectives. Thank you.